Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. When I was born in June 1970, things were not easy. My mother told me that I was officially dead, brought back to life 3 times in the hospital, and cared for before I could go home. I guess my female soul rejected my male body even back then. I was raised by myself. My dad quit the army to start his own motel and diner on land next to the base. He worked in the office most of the time. I found that I liked spending time with my mom and the women who cleaned the rooms at the hotel more than with my dad. I found a lost cat around this time. Even though my dad didn't like cats, he let me keep her. So I added another woman to my circle of friends. Mom and I became good friends quickly. We went to the shop when we weren't working at the hotel. She would take me for a ride on her bike as I held on. We always listened to the same songs when we drove around town. Mom tried hard to teach me how to ride a bike, but I could never get it. I was born with one leg shorter than the other, so I couldn't find the right balance between the 2 pedals to keep the speed up and stay upright. I also couldn't tell her how much I wanted the play sets of lipstick and nail paint that supermarkets sold. Even so, when I was in my teens, I still shaved my legs and shoulders with a straight razor. Jason and Missy, a brother and sister, were my best friends. Because we did almost everything together, our parents called us the 3 Musketeers. Missy and I built a little clubhouse in my backyard where we could have tea parties, which Missy and I mostly liked. We also played games that Jason liked, like pretending the clubhouse was a castle. When I was a kid in the U.S. state of Maine, I loved when winter came and we could ice skate and run. At the bottom of the hill, there were thorny bushes, and it was always fun to see who could get closest to them without getting thorns. Then there was a new boy who moved into the area. Because of his bad impact on Jason, Jason stole some of my toys, which made me glad I liked playing Barbie with Missy more than cops and robbers with the 2 boys. As time went on, I found that the holidays made me feel more and more sad. Mom took care of my birthday, but my great-grandmother and grandmother took care of Thanksgiving and Christmas. I was envious of how pretty my cousins Jennifer and Katrina looked in their clothes. They hated putting on nylons and frilly clothes, and they would always kick off their heels or Mary Janes to move around in their bare feet. As the family photographer, I took a lot of pictures of all the girls, so that when I was alone in the house wearing my mom's clothes, I could lay back and pretend I was either one of them. When I read about the composite Superman in DC books, I thought about what Paula would be like if the best parts of both girls were put into one person. As I grew up, there were always things going on around me. My room was full of Star Wars stuff, just like the boys' room in the movie Poltergeist. I had a clown doll that my mom gave me sitting in a rocking chair, and there was an old tree outside my bedroom window that really scared me when I saw the Poltergeist movie. Of course, it didn't help that my house was really cursed. When I was 6 years old, I woke up to sounds I couldn't place. When I got out of bed, I saw a skull floating through the wall of my bedroom. Once, when I was waiting for other people at the bus area, I saw something that could only have been a UFO. Even more so, because I was always alone when these things happened. At least until Jason, who used to be my best friend, showed up with his new BB gun. We looked for the sound as I got a stick out of the drawer, but we never found it. As a kid, your wildest fantasies seem reality. Dad went back into the service after selling the hotel, and my mom got a job at the Chamber of Commerce. I only got to see him 3 weeks out of the year, which was fine because it kept my secrets from him. Not to mention wearing my mom's shoes and clothes around the house. As I got bigger, I got too big for mom's clothes. I could only wear her nylons, which were warmer than long johns in the Maine winter, especially around the feet. Mom still got mad at me when I acted girly, not understanding how I felt. She was also mad when I bought my own fake jewelry at the store, wore her hats around town, and especially in the winter, wore her nylons to school. Since I chose to sit on the stalls anyway, no one at school would have known. Even though I almost got hurt once in acting class when we had to take off our shoes and act like we were in the Stone Age, I was lucky that I didn't have my nylons with me that day. I was always more of a kid than a regular boy, even as I got older. I liked my mother because I thought our attitudes and tastes were so similar, Even though she liked to dress up less than I did, I never understood why my parents and teachers got so upset when I took off my shoes in class and walked around in my socks like the girls did. Why can they do it, but I can't, I would say to myself, especially the year I went to a private school that my dad went to when he was my age. I was even more envious of the girls' nice clothes because I had to wear blazers, though I dodged wearing a tie. It was there, but I learned that there were different colors of nylons because my mom and I only wore white or tan, the kind I was wearing when my mom caught me for the first time on a winter Saturday. I wore it all day until she caught me and told me to take it off. When it was time for me to graduate from high school, I was happier than I had ever been. My gown was the closest thing to a dress I had worn since I outgrew my mom's clothes. I told my mother how I felt, and she went to church to talk to a priest, only to be told that Christians don't do that. I took some business lessons at the college I went to in Florida. When I read the form to sign up for the room, I almost put transgender in there in hopes of change, but I was too scared. I only checked mail in the end. I filled out the form to get into the study dorm, but I ended up in the party dorm, which was like a scene from Animal House. When I went home on the weekends to study, the stall doors would be off their hinges and there would be holes in the wall. One weekend, the party got so bad that the kids threw chairs out of the upstairs window and broke the cars in the parking lot. Since my roommate always brought his woman to sleep over, and the other guys always brought their girlfriends, I didn't talk about or show how I felt. Katrina had a sleepover around this time on one of the weekends I was home. I could have been there, but at least she told me what it was like. She was the first family member to whom I told her how I felt, even though I'd like to have asked her for some of her nail polish. I did like reading Cosmo and other fashion magazines that I got from my female friends when I was in college. I also got internet access and started doing real study on everything crossdressing and transgender related. During this time, I also joined the neighborhood comic shop's Japanese anime club. I would bring my movies, which were mostly a bunch of videos with TG themes. I would buy pictures, stickers, and other things related to Sailor Moon, which made the other members curious about me over the years. They have even sometimes called me weird. I thought about dressing up as a girl for the costume parties, but I didn't want people to think I was just wearing a mask. I didn't work while I was in college, but as soon as I was done, I got a job at a neighborhood grocery store. Now that I had my own money, I could buy nylons and fishnets in different colors. I would spend my break at work, where the outfits were for both men and women, reading fashion magazines and talking girl talk with my female coworkers, just like I did with my female friends at lunchtime in junior high and high school. I wore nylons under my pants, just like most of the other girls who worked there. I would sometimes imagine being caught at work. This is also where I first heard about Nair and started to see how good it was for hair. If I didn't wash it all off my hands when I was done, it would make it hard for me to shampoo my hair the next time. Dad was leaving for 6 months, so I talked to Mom again about how I felt, and this time she set me up with a psychologist. The counselor didn't think I was serious about a gender change because I was wearing pants and a sweatshirt. I was also worried about damage to my liver and other organs, which I had read about in my research. After the third visit, I understood that he wasn't going to understand or change. So I stopped seeing him and decided to explore other options for support. I reached out to a local LGBTQ+ community center and found a support group specifically for individuals questioning their gender identity. The group provided a safe space where I could openly discuss my feelings and concerns with others who could relate, giving me the validation and understanding I needed during this challenging time. I also once again tried to tell my mother about it in hopes she would finally get it. Now Dad is going to be home in 2 weeks, and I have to decide if I want to ruin Christmas for my parents or not. In any case, the path from Paul to Paula is a never-ending one, but I have hope that Mom will love me enough to be on my side, even when Dad is wrong. Transitioning from Paul to Paula has been a journey filled with challenges and self-discovery. Throughout my research, I learned about the difficulties that may arise during this process. However, after multiple unsuccessful attempts to make my father understand and accept me, I find myself at a crossroads, contemplating whether revealing my true self will disrupt the holiday spirit or if it is an opportunity for my parents. That's life after all, full of unpredictable moments and tough decisions. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.